To commute or not to commute? That is our burning question. Today we're going to talk all about pensions and whether to commute them or leave them in the plan.
Hello and welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Jean. It's been a while since
we haven't done one in forever.
Right? Yeah, there we go. We live in Canada. We live in
Wait, you
Toronto.
didn't tell them my name.
Didn't I say Christine?
You just said Jean.
This is Christine, my lovely wife. We live in Canada, and since the beginning of 2021, we have been sharing our journey to financial independence on this channel. Every month, and this is actually what we are going to be discussing today about the pension, our goal is to stop working and become financially independent in 2024. As we do record this video in March 2021, we are 9 months away. What did I say?
2021.
Crap. As we record this video in March 2023, we are 9 months away of 2024. We kind of have a dating plan, but we don't have a dating plan because of that stuff that we're gonna be talking today, which is the pension plan. We use the pension during our, running the numbers to see where we were, with our financial independence. And we also have those numbers reflected on our net worth. Every month we come here, we share our net worth, and you do see a number of $34,054, which is the number that Christine was gonna receive if she worked until 60
till 50. If I work till 50.
Yes. She's not gonna be working until 50. Look at her. She looks beautiful. She's not gonna be working until 50, and this is what we wanted to discuss with you. I'm gonna stop talking. Give our viewers, like what's going on.
So we're just going to talk about a few different things. I guess it's important to realize my current pension plan is a defined benefit plan, or a DB plan. Mm-hmm. There's also a defined contribution plan. Not that I have, but they're quite common and popular in the working world. Yeah. Or a DC pension. So we just kind of wanted to define what a DB pension or a defined benefit pension was compared to a defined contribution pension. Yeah. And then we'll kind of get into our situation and why we're confused and sort of wondering what we should do.
We are going to also ask for your help because this is something that we wanted to do. You might experience that before. You might never thought about that, so this is something that you need to consider. And some of the interesting links, I have been going through this and trying to figure out what is the best situation. So we have a few links that we wanted to share with you, so stick until the end of this video. But really, really, really important, not financial advice, and especially with pension, especially with your benefits and all the hard work that you have to put into your company to take what we are saying as the real truth. Yeah. So do your homework and, educate yourself. Yeah. But this is what we experience in our situation.
And this is our take on a defined benefit, defined contribution. Yeah. So
because it also depends from each plan.
So really quick, we're just going to go over what our understanding is between a defined benefit pension plan and a defined contribution pension plan. It's a little bit of a tongue twister, so we're just calling them DB and DC. All right. There we go. So for a DB, this provides a specific amount of money every year. A lot of times they're indexed to inflation, so each year you're going to receive the same amount of money. Quite often they're funded by the employer, meaning they set out how much the employee and the employer both contribute to this plan. And they use certain factors like your salary, your best 5 years, your age and service. It's guaranteed income for life. So this pension will keep going until you pass away. And quite often they also have the option where your spouse will receive a portion of your pension as well. These are typically found in government or public sector jobs. And you get taxed. It's just like an RRSP. You get to put the money in there for a tax-free manner until you retire. And upon your retirement, when you start drawing that pension, that is when you're taxed on the money.
On the other hand, we have the defined contribution. So we are going to call DC, where the amount that's kind of unknown. And since you as an employee, you are the one responsible for investing that money. The employee, in most of the cases, they usually match. Let's say if you put $1,000, or I don't know, there is usually a percentage of 2% or 3%. So there is an employer match on the amount that you are able to contribute every month or every year. It is not guaranteed income for life. It basically depends on your investment. It's quite common in the private sector, and it's also taxed on income when you retire.
Yeah, a lot of it's just what you invest your money in, right? I think we might have confused you guys more than
I know. I'm not gonna record again, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's
again.
fun.
This is our understanding.
That's why you should not take what we say as the truth, because it's not the truth. I mean, it is the truth, but
as we know it.
Yeah, that's how we get it.
Yeah.
So let's discuss now
Our situation.
Christine's situation. So you kind of have an overview before. Now it's her situation in her own plan. Keeping in mind, we are in Ontario, so we have the rules that Christine fall under. It's because of OMERS, which is the one that you
That's
have,
the
right?
plan that I'm with. Yeah. So I currently have a defined benefit pension. So there are some pros and cons that we've come up with to keeping with this defined benefit program.
It does need wine in this moment. Cheers.
It's a lot of talking in this one. So some of the pros is, like we mentioned before, there's a guaranteed income for life. We don't know what that income will be for a number of reasons, but one of the other pros is that if I was to pass away, Jean would continue to receive a portion of that pension for life. So that's really good. Especially in financial independence, knowing that you're going to receive that money every month, it's really important. It's easy. We don't have to think about it, right? The pension's just going to be there. We don't have to be worrying about what it's invested in. We don't have to worry about doing that ourselves or worrying about the market. It's just there. And for us, that pension, when we were considering leaving it in the plan, was going to act as sort of the bond portion of our portfolio, because right now we don't have any bonds in our investments. It's strictly equities, whereas a lot of people start to transition over to some bonds, some equities, just to help smooth out some of this market fluctuation.
Allocation, right?
Right. But there are cons in our minds.
On her case.
Yes, in my case. So the biggest con is that because I will not be contributing to the pension up to my early retirement date,
which is
50.
50, okay.
For me, that would be my early retirement date. My pension will not be fully indexed to inflation. So in my case, anything that I have contributed to this pension plan after 2012 will not be indexed to inflation, because I am not continuing to work up to my early retirement date, which for us is a huge deal, right? Take this year, for example, the inflation's been crazy, and if that pension is never indexed to inflation for the rest of our existence, 15, 20 years from now, that money really could mean nothing. It might not serve much of a purpose at all. So is it worth it to leave it in the plan if it is not indexed to inflation? The other con, or another con, is that if Jean and I, God forbid, were to both pass away at the same time or within a relatively short period of time, the pension would cease to exist. So our heirs would not receive any of the money that I've contributed over all of these years of working. It would just stop. So there is a survivor benefit, but that only counts for my spouse. It doesn't continue on to my heirs because we have no underage children and whatnot. So stuff to consider. And lastly, because it's not indexed to it, or because I'm not contributing up to the age of 50, and we had thought about potentially starting to pull this money out when I was 50, the amount that we would receive would be significantly less than, say, I was to work up to the age of 50 or beyond. That pension would be much larger. As it stands now, we don't actually even know the actual number that we would receive because they don't run that until I turn 45. But we're starting to question whether it's a good idea in our case to leave the money in a defined benefit pension plan.
Yeah.
This plan is often referred to as golden handcuffs because it seems like a really good pension plan. And generally they are, but everybody's situation is very different. And in our case, we don't know. So we've really started to look at this defined benefit pension as more of a defined contribution benefit or pension. I don't know why I keep calling it a benefit.
Benefit.
It's not a benefit, guys.
And I'm the one drinking wine, it's not even you.
So we're looking at it as more of a defined contribution plan because of the fact that it's not going to be indexed to inflation. We won't be contributing to it for 5 years up to the age of 50. So now, does it make more sense for us to pull that money and invest it on our own?
Yeah.
Right? So again, now there's some pros and cons to pulling the money out. Right? Some of the pros, again, we feel very confident in our investments. We feel like we've done a very good job up to this point. So in our belief, we're confident enough to be able to invest that lump sum of money in a way that will provide us with monthly income, as well as be able to grow the chunk of money that will have to be put into a lira.
Yeah. And that's the kind of calculation that we wanted to do with a financial advisor, right? So knowing the numbers and see those are the numbers that we have in place. What is the best scenario? One of the things that we already know, it would make more sense to do this at the beginning of the fiscal year. Let's say if you're planning to do it's going to be in 2024, just at the beginning of the year, Christine would say, kind of give her paperwork, and then I'm not going to work anymore because of the amount of money that we will be receiving, thinking of
the tax
implication, right? So that's one of the things that we definitely need to consider.
Yeah.
So reason to why, talk to a financial advisor who understands your situation, talk to somebody who can give you some advice on what to do or not to do.
Yeah. Another pro is that the situation that I mentioned before, where should we both pass away or one of us passes away, the other one is still able to have access to all of the money that's been contributed. Or if we both pass away, then our heirs then inherit that part of the estate. So we're not actually losing that money that's contributed because none of us know what's down the road. So that's a really big pro for pulling the money. Some of the cons are that a large chunk of that pension money will have to go into a lira or a locked-in retirement account. I believe until I turn 55, which isn't such a huge deal, gives it time to start growing a bit more, and then we can start figuring out how to withdraw it. But something to take into consideration.
Yes.
Right? What else? There was some more cons. Let's check the list.
Yeah.
Market volatility. We're going to have to worry about the volatility of the market. We're all very familiar with that over the past year and a half. So are we going to be worried that all of that hard work and all of that money is just going to go down the investing toilet? Yeah. Maybe, but I think we're starting to kind of get a handle on that sort of stressors.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of things to think about. We don't know if anybody out there has been in a similar situation. I know a lot of people think I'm crazy for having this idea of pulling the money out of a defined benefit pension plan, but it's not so great when you take into the no indexing factor. If one of us passes away, it's
living before 50, so it basically means that you would have to stay 6 or how many years more?
No more. I'm not saying no more.
But it will be 5 years until you have full pension. In our case, we don't think that money-wise is worth it. Yeah. So that's why either way, does it make sense?
Does it make sense?
I don't know.
So this is our big ask. We know this has been a lot of a talking video, but big ask to all of you. Has anybody got any experience with defined benefits plans and commuting the value of that plan? What's been your experience? What do you guys think might be a good idea in our case? I don't know. Let us know in the comments down below because we are stressing again.
We are gonna get it through. So
yeah.
2 links that I wanted to share with you before I forget.
I put the papers away.
Thank you for staying. Thank you for staying up to this point. But I want to share 2 links that I really found quite useful. The first one is the retirement calculator. Here in Canada, I'm gonna share on the links and in the comments section what is the retirement calculator. If you are here in Canada, you basically enter your numbers and you kind of see a projection of what is gonna happen, right? Another one, there's a guide from the CAPSA. I don't even know what like it stands for. It's gonna show on your screen as a magic, just like there that. You go. You know what it is, but it kind of gives you a good overview of the different plans. I think it's useful for you. Go and take a look and see if they are helpful. I think that they are. It's just for education, right? So that's always, it's always good. I think that I've been talking quite a lot. Did you find it useful? Do you think that we deserve a like? If you do, please go ahead and subscribe if you have not seen it. So that's a way that we have to ensure that we are providing something useful for you.
Yeah. So that's the video for this week. We're in a bit of a conundrum. We have lots of time to figure this out, but we want to start kind of getting our heads wrapped around it now so that it doesn't become this instant decision that needs to be made next year.
Yeah.
So any feedback is very welcome.
Yeah. And you can die with 0.
Oh, yeah.
Take a look on this book. Really good book. Tracy, thank you very much for the recommendation. So we are going through this, lots of notes. That's something that you can also take a look.
Yeah.
Take care.
All right, guys. Have a great week.
Bye. Good.
Yeah?
Yeah. You can also die with 0.
If we take all the money out, we can die with 0.
Is it still recording? Yes, it is. Okay, bye. It's recording.
All right. Fancy hairdo and everything for the video today.
Because of you.
Oh, yes. Now you're professional.